I'm Stacey.
I'm Joanne.
I'm Kayleigh.
Wait till I tell ya.
Hello everybody and welcome to episode 16. As you can remember, in episode 3 we did a kind of a little bonus episode, and it was to introduce Stacey and her family and their struggles with their son Matthew, who is going through MPS 6, along with an array of other things. And we had a couple of questions over the last couple of weeks of people who had listened to that episode, and they kind of wanted to know more, I suppose, about MPS in general. Was there other variations of it? What else did it entail? Was there charities? Was there anything else along the lines, like we had briefly mentioned at the time, Rare Ireland and bits and pieces like that? So Stacey, I'm going to hand it over to you, and I'm going to let you explain in the best detail that you can about MPS.
Yeah, so I suppose MPS, for anybody who hasn't heard about it, is the easiest variation of it, because when you say the actual condition, it is mucopolysaccharidosis, which to people can be alien.
Yeah.
When you haven't heard it before.
Of course.
Do you know, people are like, what the hell is that? Like when I heard it for the first time, when we got our diagnosis, I was like, sorry, can you say that again? Or can you spell it for me? I had absolutely no idea what it was. And looking into it then, I suppose, deeper in the last 2 years since we got Matt's diagnosis. We got Matt's diagnosis the 1st of July 2024. So we're 2 years into our diagnosis journey.
It feels so much longer, doesn't it?
I know, tell me about it. I just can't believe that we're already 2 years into that journey, and then like a year and a half almost into our treatment journey.
Yeah.
When you think about it, it seems like miles away.
But those 6 months to get to the point of the treatment was
torture. Yeah.
Because it was a process of elimination of what is wrong. And I don't like to use the word wrong, but just, to try to find out what is there, what can be cured, what can't be cured. Is it going to be there forever? Is it something that will go away? And unfortunately, it's just not.
Yeah.
It's a diagnosis. It's there, and it is there forever, and it is life limiting. And it depends on, I suppose, each family how they're going to deal with it. And ye have dealt with it in possibly the best way possible. You just keep your head above water. Yeah, you have your meltdowns.
Absolutely.
That's totally normal.
God, they come frequent.
And you have your upset days, and you have your days where you and Brian probably don't even want to fucking look at each other. Never mind then the extended family, but a lot of it like that you try to do it yourselves.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, like when we got Matt's diagnosis, like we kind of took a 2-week hiatus. So I tell people, just a 2-week hiatus to just process what was happening and try and figure out how we were going to navigate it going forward. Because you just, when you're given a diagnosis like that, and the words that are thrown at you are like incurable, life limiting. Like my first question is he going to be in pain? Because as a parent, the last thing you want to see is your child in pain.
No, you don't.
And for us, that was my biggest question, whereas Brian's like a real science head. So he was just like, oh, can we get this treatment, that treatment, the other treatment? But like, the treatment so Matthew has MPS 6, which is mucopolysaccharidosis type 6, which is also known as Moritz-Lamy syndrome. It was established in 1967, which again is still very recent. It's not a million miles away.
No.
And the very first treatment for MPS 6 only came out in 2005. So when you think about it,
oh my God,
21 years ago, we had Naglazyme, which is the name of the drug that he gets an infusion of every week. But that didn't come to Ireland until 2005.
And can you explain to people what that treatment does? Because it's like you said before, with Matthew, it's not visibly there. You don't physically see it in him. It's what goes on all on his inside.
So it's on the inside. So I suppose for MPS 6, a couple of the biggest factors in it would be hearing loss, which is obviously one of the first things that we found out about Matthew. Respiratory issues, cardiac issues, and skeletal issues. So like, it's like you just said there, like a lot of stuff is going on the inside. He would have like an enlarged spleen, an enlarged liver. He would have narrower than most airways. So like intubation is always a risk. So anytime he's put under general anaesthetic, there's a risk that he won't come out of it.
Yeah, and as well, this is why he's very prone to ears, nose, throat infections, because everything is slower. It's constantly bunged up, basically.
Yeah. He's immunocompromised, like, you know, so he kind of, before we had his diagnosis and before we started treatment, he was constantly catching every little flu that was going and everything. Now, we did see a drastic improvement when we started treatment because we started in the winter time, so obviously flu season, and we missed a few treatments, obviously due to illness. We were hospitalised that Christmas, that Stephen's Day, actually we were in for a couple of days. And then we did start to see massive improvements in like his respiratory functions, in his breathing wasn't. Now he still gets days like if the pollen is high or if it's foggy out or if it's frosty, he'll still have his
and this is why he's year round on inhalers as well to help him breathe, along with the antihistamines.
His inhalers and antihistamines, and then he takes a singular as well, which is like a powder sachet. And he takes that mainly to help his breathing, and that can be increased and stuff over time as he needs it and stuff. But like he has 18 clinics that he has to attend with the MPS 6. Because you see across the MPSs, like you've MPS 1, which is Hurler syndrome, but then the variations of that is you've Hurler-Shea on its own. So there's like 2 different types of the syndrome. You have Hunter syndrome, which is MPS 2. MPS 3 is Sanfilippo syndrome, which you would probably hear a lot about on TikTok because there's a lot of parents at the minute advocating for a treatment that the FDA have not approved yet. So MPS 3 is kind of one of the only ones
that don't have a treatment
at the minute that doesn't have a treatment plan. And there's 4 types of MPS 3 of A, B, C and D, but it's otherwise known as childhood Alzheimer's because it's like a regression one where, you know, they'll be developing fine until they're 2 or 3, but then by the time they're 6, they'll have gone right back to like an 18-month-old. So they lose the ability to swallow, to feed themselves, to talk, to walk. It's like a proper regression, whereas if they could get this treatment, it would hopefully maintain. And that's the thing with us as well, like early intervention is so important. Like if they were to, and I will harp about this till the day I die, if they were to introduce MPS testing in the newborn screening, it would give so many kids a better chance, because if that was one of the things that was on our heel prick, the irreversible skeletal damage that has already been done up to his diagnosis and up to his treatment could have been not prevented, but wouldn't have been as severe.
Yes, I get
you. So his walking and stuff wouldn't have been as bad because we would have been on treatment from birth.
Yes.
Which would have given him a better chance.
Of course.
But until they it's like Jessie Nelson, she was trying to get the SMA put onto newborn screening in the UK, which they have. That is already on the Ireland screening.
Yes.
But Ireland only screens for 11 conditions.
It's ridiculous.
Italy screens for 30.
Wow.
So like it just goes to show you the gap that like,
of course,
why are they not all doing the same thing? But in saying that, I went to the MPS conference, the international conference in Florence in June, and I got speaking to 2 other parents who have kids with MPS 6.
Okay.
Yeah, one was from Cyprus.
Wow.
And one was from Brazil.
Okay.
So it just goes to show you the rarity of it.
Yeah. And how far it is.
It's not like you'd go out to do your shopping and you'd meet someone and say, oh, my cousin has that or my uncle has that. It's just so uncommon. So
and come here, what age were these children?
So,
or were they children or teenagers?
So there was actually one little girl, I met her dad. Her dad's name is Stelios. I met him. He's from Cyprus. And it was really funny actually, because we did like an introduction on day 1 where we all sat down and we were like, hi, my name is blah, 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 you know, and my son has MPS, whatever. And everyone was going around the room and I was hearing an awful lot of like MPS 1, MPS 2, MPS 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2.
And your ear cocked when you heard somebody else.
Literally. So like it came around Stelios and he was like, oh, my name is Stelios. I'm from Cyprus. My little girl's MPS 6. And immediately I was like, what did he just say? And then the minute that session
coming up on my arms.
Yeah, the minute that session was over, I went straight off to him and I was like, I'm so sorry, this is very forward, but like my name is Stacey, my little boy Matthew is MPS. So his daughter and my daughter, his daughter and my son, there's only a couple of months between them. They would have got their diagnosis about 3 months apart. And they would have started treatment 2 to 3 months apart as well. So they're literally side by side on this journey.
They're copy and paste.
Like side by side on this journey. So we've connected over Facebook. Obviously there is that little bit of a language barrier.
Of course.
His English is quite good, but you know, we did a FaceTime when we were there with his wife and the kids, and I was able to talk to his daughter and stuff, which was really, really nice. And then the other family that we met,
because he was there and not, because you did bring Matthew.
Yeah, I brought Matthew with me, but he just didn't have the opportunity. His wife had to work, and
of course, fair enough.
It was quite hard, so they just weren't able to kind of let the two of them go as such.
Yeah.
But the other couple that I met from Brazil, their son was, I think he's like 8 or 9. His progression is slow, which is amazing because obviously, you know, he's able to like hop.
And is he on treatment?
He's on treatment as well, but he's able to like hop up and ride a bike, no problem. He's able to do so many things.
Wow.
Yeah, because his progression is slow.
But seeing that, it's like, it gives you that bit of hope.
Absolutely, of course it does. Like when you see anybody living past the age of teenage years or early adolescent years with MPS 6, that gives me hope because that is the time frame we're looking at. You know, like I know 2 families in Ireland, you know, one of them lost their daughter 20 odd years ago to MPS 6, but like she would have been one of the biggest assets to like, you know,
unfortunately, because we lost her, but because
she was here and because she was
parents.
So treatment wise, she was one of the first to receive the treatment. Wow. So like her statistics and her parents allowing that to happen,
of course,
are the reason we have treatment today.
Yes.
You know, and we know that family quite well, and they are just, honestly, they're just fabulous people. And like, you know, like we're in contact with them very much. So, you know, they're Limerick supporters, so they've had a very good weekend.
Oh yes, absolutely.
So we had Matthew in his Limerick jersey, Limerick a boo, all the
God,
it's a really big deal. But like, it's just going back to the treatment aspect of it. Like, we're treating a condition that we can't cure.
Yeah.
And that's hard because you're pinning him down every single week to have treatment. You don't know what it's doing on the inside. You can't see inside his body. Yeah. But you're hoping it's doing its job.
Yeah.
You're just hoping that it's doing what it's meant to be doing.
Yeah.
Whereas you're there pinning him on the outside, and like eventually over time, like our timeline for Matthew is that like when he hits kind of 7 or 8, that's when he will start regressing in like height. Mm-hmm. So he probably won't get a whole lot taller and his condition will deteriorate and stuff. Yeah. That is kind of the window that we're looking at. So from here till there, we're just throwing everything at him. We're bringing him everywhere we can bring him.
Of course.
Letting him do all that, riding his bike and like anything he says he wants to do, we're like, yeah, go for it. Like, you know, we'll never limit him. Like, we'll always find a way for him to do it.
No, and you've never actually limited him. You've never stopped him from doing anything.
Or treat him differently.
You don't treat him any differently. You still correct him like you would correct any other child. Mm-hmm. You would still, say, no, you can't have this, no, you can't have that when it comes to certain things. I can still remember you been so upset when you were told about the hearing loss and that he'll never speak, and now he hears the grass grow and he'd buy and sell you.
He never shuts up.
No,
he never shuts up. Even in the car this morning, I was like, just breathe, Stacey, because he was literally like 40 questions, and I'm just like, and he's like, Mommy, why is grass green anyway? I was like, oh my God. And he's like, why is it yellow now? Trying to
explain it's burnt a bit with the sun.
I was literally trying to explain to him. I was like, well, it's been really hot and the weather's been nice, but it's just trying to get it. But if you don't have the right supports in place, that's kind of where you fall down. Like, and that's where we've been exceptionally lucky. Yeah. Because we've been linked in with, 4 or 5 different, companies as such, or organizations that have literally shaped our diagnosis and our journey. That if we hadn't been linked in with them, we would have felt lost.
Yes.
We wouldn't have had a clue what to do, where to go. Yeah. Or we wouldn't have had a clue who we were supposed to talk to or anything like that. Yeah. And I remember one of the first things I did when I got Matt's diagnosis, we'd gone up to an appointment in Temple Street and they had said, look, have you reached out to the Irish MPS Society? And I said, look, to be honest, I haven't done anything yet. Yeah. Because my head was up my arse. Like,
of course it was. What else are you supposed to do until you're told?
There's no point in putting it on your
And especially, you can only Google so much, and then once you Google so much and then you find out other ones, you're nearly finding out more how many people have died than the success rate or the good things of it. It's always like, in memory of this, memoriam of that, and it's kind of like, oh sweet Jesus, tonight will give us a bit of good, like a bit of hope from it. But Matthew Corbally is nothing but hope.
Yeah, no, honestly, like, and that's just kind of hit the nail on the head there. Like, that's the first thing we did was Google it, because we had no information, we had no leaflets, we had nothing. Yeah. And having nothing, the first thing you're going to do is Google it. Yeah. Anybody would have done the same. Of course. Thing, and if you didn't, more fucking power to you. Yeah. But I just didn't have the willpower not to, because I had no idea what this was. Oh. But Google is the worst. It's a hole.
Because like that, we know people who have, let's say, Down syndrome.
Yep.
We know what Down syndrome is.
Yes.
There's awareness days. There's this, that, and the other. There's talks about. You've gone to school with someone. Your neighbour is someone. And I'm not just pinpointing Down syndrome, but it's the first thing that has come to mind, that it's something that we know of.
Yep.
It's common. It's everywhere. Do you know, every sole person that you see going down the street, fifth, sixth person has it. Whether they're independently out on their own, or they're with somebody else, or they're on a train, or they're taking the bus. You know that they have it because it's seen from birth.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, with the MPS, none of them, from 1 to I think it's 7.
Yeah.
You cannot look at a person and go, "Oh,
you have MPS."
You have MPS.
Yeah, no, you can't.
They all still look like standard, average people.
It's the same as most rare conditions. Like at birth, not a whole lot can be told unless the heel prick reveals it.
Of course, yeah.
Which is why the newborn screening is so vitally important in every country.
Yeah.
To be pinpointing these, because all the doctors and everything are all talking about early intervention this, early intervention that, but they're removing the one hope that we have.
Yeah. They claim Ireland is so modern when Ireland couldn't be further from modern.
Yeah, like when it comes to early intervention and stuff like that for these conditions, for the rare genetic disorders, it's baffling.
I'm not cutting you off, but when you say that, you're not just talking about MPS.
No.
You're talking about every single one of them. And that's where it links you into talking about your Rare Ireland.
Yeah.
Would you like to explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so Rare Ireland are one of the organisations that we signed up to. Basically, someone had said it to me about joining the Facebook page. I went on, joined the Facebook page. They had a form that you fill in to join the society as such. I didn't really know what I was signing up to be honest.
Right.
I just seen it, I suppose, as a little leg to lean on. Kind of, it was going to be a support network for us that I was kind of hoping is what we'd get from it.
Yeah.
You know, my husband, he's very quiet. It's not kind of really his thing. But I'd be the type of person that, like, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about
advocate for someone, you don't just talk, you shout.
Oh, absolutely, from the rooftops. Like, do you know what I mean? From the rooftops, I will shout about MPS 6 and newborn screening until the cows come home, until someone listens to me. Yeah. But like, Rare Ireland was that platform that we found, and we met so many lovely people through it. We attended the Rare Ireland conference for the first year ever in 2025 last year, myself and my friend Joanne. You know Joanne? Yeah. Our Joanne. Yeah.
Our other co-host is very, 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 very busy, but we'll soon reveal all that.
But we literally went down, and I attended the conference all day. She was working, and then she came down and we went to the charity ball. They do charity ball at night time.
They make you feel really special when they do something like that.
But even the talks during the day were just so fascinating because it was about the care plan from like 2026 to 2030, and there was just a lot of stakeholders involved. There's a lot of organising to it. Rare Ireland was created by two parents.
Oh.
Two parents who saw a gap in the market.
Just
for support.
But did they have children with a rare disease?
Yeah. Oh, they both have kids with a rare condition. So you have Laura Egan. She would be one of the main founders.
Wow.
And her daughter Alana has a rare condition. Okay. And then the other lady is Louise O'Keefe. Now, Louise has recently stepped down from the foundation. So obviously prior commitment, she's commitments and stuff, and that's fine. But like, the organisation is like solid.
Wow.
But it was started by two parents who saw a gap.
That's fantastic.
It's like, you think about it, it's the same thing we're doing with APPOITMENTS, like parents who see a gap.
Yes.
Like, the most powerful advocates for kids are parents.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So in joining
Rare Ireland, who have any sort of a care for a child.
Yeah, so in joining Rare Ireland, like, we got that sense of community, that sense of support, help, you know, like, even in setting up APPOITMENTS, I was able to ring her and be like, look, I have to do a constitution here, I'm a bit out of my depth here with it, can you give me a dig out? And she was like, no problem at all.
See, that's nice as well, though, that the support was there then to be like, absolutely, I've been through it, I know the hardship 100%. Of it, here's a hand.
And like, even at the most recent Rare Ireland day now we had was Barrettstown. We did the day camp back in June, and like, even just to connect with all the other families, they all have different rare conditions, but like, they all have a common we all have a common denominator, and the common denominator is we spend more time in the hospital than we do at home.
Yeah.
And that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
And like, it's just to be able to talk to the other parents and for the kids to be able to look at each other and realise that they're not so different after all.
Yeah.
You know, like,
to bring them to a place where they can still play,
Yeah.
they can still colour, they can still do art, they can still play
Have
with the
fun.
hacky sacks, have fun, read stories, listen to music, and everything else that goes along with it. And it just makes it special to have a place like that they
course
get
it
to
does.
nearly call home.
yeah, 100%. Like, and Barrettstown has been just that for us. Like, it's been a home away from home, but it's been such an escape. Like, we've been there we've had three overnights, I think, there where we stayed for the weekend, and then we had the day camp, and then we went to the Christmas one last year, if you remember that.
Yeah, that was lovely. That was really
They're actually doing a Barrettstown Big Picnic as well, which is open to the public as well in August. I meant to say that
lovely.
to you, actually. I think it's Sunday the 16th, which is obviously the day after my birthday.
Yeah.
So I was actually going to see if you wanted to go. So off the cuff there's an invite for that. But like the other societies we've been linked in with, like the first society we ever got linked in with was the Irish MPS Society.
Yes.
And I remember filling in this form online, and I remember my phone ringing one evening. It was about 7:00 in the evening, and I was like, I don't know that number, but because Matthew has so many appointments and stuff, I always answer every number just in case.
Yeah.
So I remember answering anyway, and she was like, "Hi Stacey, it's Mary from the Irish MPS site. I'm just checking in to see how you are," and blah blah blah. She was just so nice.
Yeah.
Oh my God, she was just so sweet. Like, when she was talking to me, she was human. She just treated me like a
So you could
human.
nearly say all these organisations, all these supports make you feel human. They make you feel heard. They make you feel seen, because as simple as family, even close friends, and can be unaware to the level of hurt and harm and hardship that ye go on within the four walls of your house alone.
Yeah.
Never mind having to try get out of the house for the day, what hardship it takes to make sure you have all the medicines, to make sure you have all this, that and the other, and you have two little boys to try get out the door, not just the one. And nothing in that sense is easy either. And it's nice like that when somebody from those areas picks up the phone and they say, how are you?
How are you getting on? Yeah.
You're not asking about my child, you're asking about me.
Yeah. It was like a sense of belonging though as well. It was just like, oh, like, we'll look after you from here on in. And that's all they have done.
Yeah.
To be totally honest.
Yeah.
Like, when we went up to our first ever MPS event, it was in Kilcoon in Galway. It's a gorgeous little retreat centre up there. It's really, really nice. And it was for the Christmas event. And we were supposed to stay for the weekend, but unfortunately we had the toy show on Friday night.
Oh yes.
And then on the Sunday we had another commitment as well. I can't remember what it was. We could only go down the Saturday for the lunch.
Yeah.
But to even walk into the room, and it's like the minute you walked in, they're like, Stacey, it's so nice to see you. My name is Mary. And there's 4 Marys in the Irish MPS Society.
Okay.
How funny is that?
Yeah.
So you have Mary L, Mary McGorn, Mary Lynch, and I'm forgetting Mary Bouchel is the other one.
Yeah.
So you have 4 Marys. So like the first time we came in, I was like, what? How am I going to remember all these Marys?
Yeah.
But like, there was that sense of like comfort when you walked in, because when you walk in, there's like couches on the left, there's a telly, the lads are watching the TV.
Yes.
Over on the right there, you have your little kitchenette area. The kids are just chilling out.
It's like going to Granny's for the day.
Matt's the youngest one there at the minute. So they are loving him because he's just bringing this like sense of enjoyment and life to it, because you know a lot of the other members are a lot older, and like for him, Matt just loves being in the centre of it. Like, but he's like, we went up the last time, we did bingo, we did everything. This was in May, and I was elected onto the committee in May.
Yes.
So obviously now I've become a committee member. I just want to be involved. I just want to help. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But between all of them, like the Irish MPS Society, Rural and Barrettstown, Bumbleance is another one. Like without Bumbleance, we'd be lost with like getting to and from appointments and stuff. And there's never an issue. And it's always like, you know, like say last week we had an appointment and we only got it the week before. So I was like, chance to get a Bumbleance now is short. Like, you know, it's too short leading. And she texted me on the Monday to be like, look, I've got a cancellation for tomorrow. Do you want it? Like, they're just so on the ball.
Brilliant.
And I was like, yes, I want it.
But not only that, you've also done a fundraiser for Bumbleance. You've also done a fundraiser last Halloween for Tempest Street Children's Hospital, and it made it to the papers.
Yeah, 100%.
And like, that alone to bring, even if it wasn't for the MPS that people were involved with, but to be more involved with donating to children's charities, donating to all these places.
Yeah.
It makes a difference.
Yeah.
The person that's donating may not necessarily see the change, but you as a parent who's involved in it all, you see it.
Oh, you see everything, yeah, of course.
You know,
especially the smaller units. Like, I think it's hard to justify for me donating to like CHI as a whole, Children's Health Ireland, because they're a government organisation, they get funding, they're not short of a few pounds.
Yeah.
But for the likes of the smaller, like our unit, the metabolic unit, is like a small segment of that hospital who probably doesn't receive as much funding as, we'll say, the cancer ward, the leukemia ward, the ones that are more prevalent. Yeah. You know, and they, don't get me wrong, they're obviously in need of the funding for treatments and stuff, and I understand but but the smaller ones are overlooked. Yes, that's what I was trying to go on to say next, is that the bigger areas get the most money, whereas like that, the rest of them, they only get so much of the fund and not enough of it. So like any of the money we donated to Temple Street was split between the metabolic unit and St. Bridget's ward, which is the ward that we spent most of our time on. There's only 6 or 7 little rooms on Bridget's ward, but like that could have gone towards toys for the kids, anything and it was knowing that the money went where we really wanted it to go. Oh, of course, was so important. But I always believe in giving back. Yes, I always believe in that. Like Cumberland's have been so good to us. We raised €1,000 for them last year for the coffee morning in March. Yes, we raised 3,500 for Temple Street. Like that's not me finished. Like in my head now, I'm already like, right, what are we doing this Halloween? Who are we fundraising for this year? What can we do next? Because I'm just like, they've given so much to us that they don't even realise it, because it's kind of like their jobs. And they're like, but this area, to me, it's just you go above and beyond in your jobs. The other organisation that I really want to highlight today, obviously, is the Little Blue Heroes. Yes, of course. So Matthew became an honorary Garda probably about a year ago, I'd say now. Yes, just over a year ago now, actually. And it would be because he wore his Garda outfit to the picnic. Yes, actually, you're dead right, he did. But recently we had his Garda graduation, which was down in Templemore in the Garda College, and to be honest, like it was like he was a guard passing out. Like it was a full on graduation. All the bells and whistles, nothing was spared. There was a Build-A-Bear truck that came in that the kids built their own Build-A-Bears. Matthew dressed his as a guard, naturally. Brilliant. And then on the inside of it, they let you record a message so your bear can talk. So the Garda buddy that we had on the day he's in was Sean, so he's passing out in December. And Matthew asked him to record the message. He was so emotional, and he was like, what do you want me to say? And he was like, I don't know, something like, hi, I'm Garda Bear. So on the message, when you press it says, hi, I'm Garda Bear and you're under arrest. That's so cute. Oh so my God. But like they've literally been like the lads check in every so often. They've come out in the squad car, they've come out in the Garda Jeep, they've come out in the paddy wagon. Anytime they come out with something different, but they always come out with something for Matthew. Like whether it's a bag of goodies, they've come out with vouchers at Easter time. Anything like that at all, they just always come out with something. But that's what I'm saying, like it's such, like without realising it, and I don't think it's not until you're in the thick of it, and it's not until you have a child with a rare condition or a life limiting one that you realise the supports that are there, like that with on Garda Síochána. Like, absolutely. There was no way I would have ever thought they had any involvement in anything like that. I really didn't until Matthew. And the thing is, as beautiful and all these organisations are, you wouldn't wish that anyone would have to use them. No, of course like not. When we went to the Garda graduation, it was phenomenal. They put on such a day, but I wish we didn't have to be there. No, of course. Does that make sense? As grateful and all as you are for the societies and for everybody to be there for you and everything, it's fantastic. You kind of wish you weren't there as well. That's it. No, understandably, because you wish you didn't have to be there. You wish you didn't have to go through it. But at the same time, if you weren't going through it, your life wouldn't be the way it is. Do you understand? So do you know, like Matthew has overcome so many things. He's defying odds of so much that he would have never have thought that he would have done and stuff like that. And like that across the board with other people with MPS, they are getting out and still doing their things day to day in all the areas that you've gone to with people that have the MPS. You have seen so many characters, so many lovely people.
and you speak so highly of them. You speak so highly of the organisations, and irregardless of Matthew having MPS 6, there is like that so many people with so many rare conditions, and so many of them may not even know of some of these.
Oh, 100%. Like, and that's exactly it. Like, I suppose there's always a bit of a poor me syndrome sometimes as well. Like, you know, the way sometimes, like, you get days where you're like really positive and like, let's get up, let's do this, let's do that, blah, 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 and you're fine, and that's great. But there's days you get up and you're like, why me?
Yeah.
What did I do to deserve this?
Yeah.
Why is this so hard?
Yeah.
Why is life throwing curveballs all the time? But in another sense, the way I'm looking at that lately is like, I went through a really bad period about a month ago where I was just like really down and out. I just really struggled to get out of the bed. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I just could not do it. And then I woke up on a Friday morning and Matthew came into me, and I thought, you know what, if he's able to get up and go out of the fucking bed and come into me,
I should be.
Why am I fucking feeling sorry for myself and having a pity party over here?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, he gets up in the morning and the first thing he does is come in and ask me to take off his hand splints because he's worn them all night. I'm like, Stacey, get a grip of yourself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I shouldn't. Oh, look, don't get me wrong, you're allowed to have bad days, and that's
of course.
Fine. I shouldn't be having pity parties for myself, and he's able to get up and get on with it. And I see, like, there's one of the girls in the MPS side, June is her name, she has Morchio syndrome, which is MPS 4, and she works in an office. Gets up every day, goes and does her thing, and off she goes.
Wow.
Chezzy's in college.
My God.
I think she'll kill me now if I get this wrong. I can't remember if it's digital design or product design. She's going to kill me. She's told me this a million times. She's probably going like, seriously. But yeah, do you know what I mean? They get up and they get out with the days and they just get on with it. Like, you know, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to just be like, you know, Matthew be like, my legs are sore. I'm like, cool, let's go stretch them. Yeah. You know, let's go do something. Let's not just sit here complaining we have sore legs.
Yeah. But I'd also like to point out, when you are somebody who has something like a rare condition or any disability, you don't see it as anything different than you are who you are.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have days where they think to themselves, oh, why can't I be normal? Do you know what is normal at the back of it all?
It's really funny that you've just said that, actually,
but like,
because this morning is the first morning where Matthew asked a question about why he was different. Now, and I mean the first morning ever to ask a question about his, not even about his condition, but he said, I was by Mr. Carr this morning, and he said, Mommy, why doesn't Kayleigh have to wear AFOs?
Yes.
And I was like, I buckled them in, and I was like, I'll tell you now in a second. I'm like walking around the car being like,
what the hell do I say to
answer this? Like,
but sorry, where I was going, what I was saying was that, like, I'm sure they have down days where they're kind of like, oh, why do I get looked at as if I'm different? Or why do I get looked at this way or that way or the other way? But it's totally validating for you to have your down days, because he's your son.
Yeah.
He's your little boy. You were the one that gave birth to him. You put all your power. That was not an easy fucking delivery.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. It
wasn't. And it's you sitting back going, that's my little boy. He is sick. He does have a life limit, and I don't know how long I have with him.
Yeah.
And you would do absolutely anything to trade places with him.
Of course I would, in a heartbeat. That is something.
So that's why it's okay to have your bad days. So don't ever be hard on yourself for having your down days.
Yeah. No, I know, you're right. I know. Yeah. And that is it. Like, you take it away in a heartbeat if you thought you could.
Of course you would. Any one of us would. We love that kid so much. Any one of us would take. Even if we could just take the fact of that he could walk normally, if he could move his hands normally, you know, we'd absolutely do it.
Of course we would, in a heartbeat. And that's the thing about MPS, like, it varies. Like, you know, Sanfilippo syndrome is obviously so severe that, like, you know, childhood Alzheimer's, they forget how to talk.
That is crazy.
To walk,
That's crazy. I didn't even realise it was to the severity. I didn't even realise children could... I know some children can be a little bit underdeveloped and have different disorders or whatever else, but I never knew there was a full-on rare condition where a child could develop Alzheimer's.
Yeah, it's referred to as childhood Alzheimer's because basically, you know, they develop normally until they're like 2 and then they hit the regression then, like, so can you imagine as parents, again, in a country who doesn't do a heel prick test for the newborn screening, and then, you know, they have a child and all of a sudden the child gets to 2 and then things start going south and they only figure it out then.
Yeah.
And yet they then realise that there is no treatment currently available for that either. So it must be very frustrating as that parent.
But then you're reteaching again.
Yeah. But
Like
even
what
still, you won't have
to the level of
you won't have
the same age. Would
yeah,
they?
the comprehension level kind of just disappears.
And sorry, what MPS is that? Did you say
that's MPS 3, Sanfilippo syndrome,
and that's how that affects that person. Oh my god, or those children.
And then like Marchio and then Maritolami, so that's MPS 4 and MPS 6. There is no MPS 5, so it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 9.
Oh,
yeah,
no 8 either.
No. So MPS 1 is Hurler-Shea syndrome.
Okay.
MPS 2 is Hunter syndrome. MPS 3 is Sanfilippo syndrome. MPS 4 is Marchio. MPS 5 or MPS 6 then is Martolami. MPS 7 is called Slee syndrome.
Okay.
And then MPS 9 is called Natovich syndrome.
And can I ask, is there anything that all of them have the same thing in common? Or is it every one of them are actually different?
No, like I think across all of them, there's maybe 2 main things that might be recognizable. Okay. And that is like a flat bridge nose.
Okay.
And your eyes are set a bit.
The
eyes are set a bit wider apart, and they have like coarser facial features.
Okay.
That seems to be kind of like across the board. Skeletal issues, and issues kind of walking and stuff seems to be a big one, and respiratory issues seems to be one. That's
the respiratory issues, yeah, of course. Yeah.
That seems to be one that affects all of the MPS types.
Okay.
Yeah. But like even MPS as a whole, like when you hear about it for the first time, you're like, oh my god, like how can one condition be causing so much issues?
But will I tell you something?
What?
When you told me Matthew had MPS 6, once you had told us the big mouthful name, and then we're like, it's actually just referred to as MPS 6. I did not know there was MPS 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 9. I didn't. Genuinely didn't until there was one day we were talking, you were after being at something, and you were like, there's MPS 1, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
And I think it was only a couple of weeks ago we were going up to a concert.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you mean there's more than just MPS 6? My brain was blown when you said that. Yeah. I genuinely was like, wait,
it's like a set of conditions, like, and it's all to do with sugars. So it's basically there's an enzyme missing that breaks down sugars. So when we're having like his tests done, one of the biggest tests that to do is a urine test, believe it or not.
Okay.
And the urine test will tell you how many, like what the level of GAGs are in his urine, which is glycosaminoglycans.
Okay.
Which is literally the level of sugar almost. And then whatever sugar is not broken
so
down.
Can they develop diabetes? No, or is that a stupid question?
No, it's not. No question is a stupid question when it comes to stuff like this. But there's no correlation that says if you have MPS 6, you're at a higher risk for blah, blah, blah. No, it's just the way the body breaks down a certain sugar. Yeah. Like it mightn't be a glucose, fructose kind of a sugar.
So have you to be watchful of sugars he eats?
No. Okay. Like his sugar or his enzyme is acesulfase B that he's missing, and then obviously that's then substituted by Naglazyme, which is the infusion that he gets every Monday. And that's what's hopefully, so the idea is that the galacesulfase Naglazyme is replacing the enzyme and tricking the body into thinking that the enzyme was there all along.
Yes, I understand. Yeah.
But if, like, obviously there's weeks we miss treatment and everything like that, and the disease still is going to progress, like, you know, to the end. But any of the damage that's done up until the age he was 3.5, coming up on 3. He was coming up on 3, when he got the diagnosis, actually, sorry. So we would have started treatment kind of shortly after he turned 3.
Yes.
Because he's 5 in September.
Yeah. And just to go back to something there that you had mentioned about clinics and that he attends. Yeah. So I presume himself the same as anybody else with the MPS. You mentioned clinics that he goes to, and you mentioned that it was 18 clinics that he goes to. Can you give a brief of what they are?
Yeah.
Now I know it's a long list.
It is.
Buckle in, everyone.
It is.
And just
obviously
kind of, not even explain, but just to kind of list kind of what he does have to go through, and many others who has this.
Yeah, so I suppose like the main clinic for us is the metabolic clinic. So we're kind of there every 6 months for the gags, or annually for the gags, or if there's any issues, that's where we go straight to, and that's the metabolic clinic, which is St. Francis Clinic, Temple Street. Within the Temple Street then itself, we have our multidisciplinary team. So any of the doctors that Matthew deals with meet.
They all have to talk to each other.
They all have to talk to each other, basically. And it's called shared patient care.
Yeah.
Where, like, say, like Professor Kelly or Dr. Kelly, who does his orthopedics, he would share with the Spree Centre locally here where we do OT.
Yes.
You know, his findings, so that they're giving him the right exercises to do and everything like that. Because if they don't talk to each other, then, you know, there's the breakdown in communication.
But it's also you having to re-explain every fucking time you go somewhere. So that's the arse as well.
All the time. It's like when you go to A&E locally, like there's 1 or 2 consultants in Portlaoise that are absolutely brilliant. Dr. Tariq is his paediatrician locally in Portlaoise. So if we need anything, we kind of go to him, and he's very clued in on MPS now. He wasn't at the start, but he's developed such kind of like a passion for learning about it as well since maths diagnosis, which is really good. And then there's Furkanda as well. So she works in the A&E department. She's one of the pediatric doctors. And I remember like one of the first times we went up there and Matthew needed to have bloods done. And she was like looking at his condition and doing all whatever she was doing and all. And she made sure that like, because they were going to allow just a standard nurse to do it. And she was like, you get a phlebotomist up here to do that because that child needs a good relationship with needles. And she was just so clued in, like, you know, and I think that's what you need.
Of course.
But like from the top down, I suppose you have our local GPs here.
Yes.
Now, the only thing about them is they probably only really see him for a sniffle or a cough. They don't really see him for a whole lot else. So they don't really know a whole lot about his condition. I just mentioned his paediatrician there, Dr. Tariq in Portlaoise. He's very, very good. Respiratory and allergy is in Portlaoise as well with Lisa Egan's. That's for like, he had an egg allergy when he was growing up. And obviously his respiratory function is low. So
I remember it was not from eating a pancake. Yep. And you just, it was like, you can't eat pancakes.
6.5 months old. Pancake Tuesday. Because he was obviously born in September, October. Yeah, he's about 6 months old, and we have a pancake. Thankfully, we only lived around the corner from the hospital.
Yeah, at the time. I remember that.
So we were able to go straight around. They were able to see the reaction instantly.
Yeah,
you know, and then they were able to send us in for further testing on that. So, but we've kind of we've evolved a bit. Yes, we're on the egg ladder and we're working our way up on it. Yeah. Our orthopedic consultant is Dr. Kelly, so we're up there every 6 months for scans to check progression and development.
Of course.
Our biggest issues at the minute are knees and hips. Yeah. So those are 2 things we're kind of focusing on. Orthodontics, we haven't been linked in with yet. We won't be linked in with them until he loses his first tooth. Okay. Then he'll have to have just x-rays and stuff done just to see, because
if they'll grow
different directions, and we just want to make sure that we have all sorted out. Occupational therapy then is in Portlaoise, physiotherapy is in Portlaoise, audiology is in Tullamore, ophthalmology is in Temple Street. Yeah. We're in Crumlin initially. That's when we had the big hullabaloo with that one doctor. So. Yes. Cardiology is actually really, really funny story. Cardiologist, Prof. Kevin Walsh in Crumlin is actually one of the ones who initially picked up on there being something wrong with that.
Wow,
okay. Cardiologist.
My God.
Yeah, and Brian went up to the appointment. It wasn't me actually, and he goes, he measured his head. I said, he did what? He goes, yeah, he asked me, could he measure his head? I was like, that's a really strange thing for a cardiologist to do. But he asked Brian there and then, could he send away for genetic tests? And Brian was like, yeah, of course. Like, if you think it's necessary, go for it. Yeah. And he was one of the ones that actually.
Imagine Brian said no.
I know, yeah, I know. But you think about it though, initially when we were offered genetics testing.
You actually all said no, didn't you? For the ears.
We were told that if all he had was basically what we were told was they wouldn't normally warrant genetics testing just for hearing loss unless for family planning. Yes, we wanted to go ahead to have another child. Yeah. So they told us at the time, like, we don't think it's necessary now. And we were like, yeah, no, we totally agree. But sure, we were none the wiser, like.
Fucking hell.
No, not a clue. Speech and language. Psychology then is all through temps like that. When you start in school in September, now he's going to start asking questions about why he's different. Yeah. So she helps us, Maeve. She is just like a ray of sunshine. Yeah. She helps us kind of talk to him and explain things to him a little bit easier. But she's very good for us as well. Like, she always checks in on us when we go up there as well.
Yeah, but see, that's nice that she links in with all of you, do you know, to see how you're feeling.
Social worker is very same. Peter Duncan, he is absolutely hilarious. He is gas crack. But again, if you need anything, he's an email away. You send him an email, he's back to you within a day or two. Brilliant. Same with his LSD nurse, Etna. Like, you literally send an email, like that. She's either on the phone to you, or she's emailing you back, or she's saying, I don't know the answer, but I'll come back to you on it.
Yes.
You know,
you won't be left in the dark.
Communication is just constant.
Yeah.
The visiting teacher then is who looks after us, kind of going into school, setting up maths, hearing aid equipment and speakers and all that jazz in school. CRC is Central Remedial Clinic, so that's kind of for upper limb.
Okay.
They specialise in upper limb movements and stuff like that. ENT then is Temple as well. I mentioned the metabolic. That's obviously.
And sorry, now going back to the ENT, Matthew has had grommets how many times?
So he's on his second set of grommets.
And will he ever need like tonsils removed or?
Yeah, so he's due to have a sleep study done within the next year.
For like sleep
for sleep apnea.
Yeah, that's it.
Because that would be a big thing.
Yeah.
MPS as well, obviously with the reduced
of course.
areas. So they're kind of looking at doing the sleep study in the next 6 months to decide whether or not he needs the tonsils and the adenoids removed, obviously, because that would be a big thing. But again, putting him under is
of course
the issue there. So then the other things that we're linked in with is just the TCP home care nurses. So like the nurses that come to the house then to do the treatment, the lads who do the deliveries for delivering the drug, the girls that ring us from the office to arrange treatment, to arrange the delivery. And that's like a week's work. Like I left my job the end of June. I was working in Midlands Park Hotel obviously for almost 11 years.
Yeah.
And I had to make the hard decision to give up my job, give up my career that I worked so hard for, to do this full time. So it's a full-time job.
Of course it is. It's constant. That's constant phone calls, appointments. Yeah. And then there's times where it's not just this. You could have to go see your public health nurse. You could have to make an appointment to get into your GP. At the bottom as well, we have sign language. Matthew can understand sign language, but can't do a lot of it, isn't?
Yeah, so I suppose his hands, he'd have like camptodactyl hands, so they're kind of like restricted. I'm trying to think of the word that they use to describe it. Can't think of it, but basically he has a good comprehension of sign language. So like if I was to say to him, can you go get the milk,
he'll understand why.
We haven't been practicing a lot lately. We haven't been practicing a lot lately, and we've kind of our tutor we kind of ceased it for a while because we just had a lot of other stuff going on that was kind of taking priority. So we have kind of taken a step back from sign language for the moment, but we still will try and do our colours, our numbers, and like basic things like,
of course,
my name is, your name is, my brother, your sister, kind of a thing. To try and maintain that ourselves, even so that when we usually go up to the Deaf Village in Cabra. They do an event in summer, an event at Christmas time, but it's nice to be able to go up and actually talk to people.
Yes.
Do you know?
Yeah.
So that's good. But sign language, we're taking a little bit of a step back, but we still, it's impressive for a 4.5-year-old that if you sit in front of him and sign his colours, he'll just tell you exactly what they are.
Yes. He has great understanding. He's very, very intelligent.
Comprehension level is next level.
Unbelievable. So he is. He's so clever. He's so bright. He's a great little kid all around. As are many of the other incredible ladies and gentlemen that you have met who have MPS of any variation of it. They're all very well in with everything. You know, they chat about everything. They are involved with a lot. And I suppose that's kind of all we can really say on that. I think you've covered a lot there. So again, like that, we were asked questions, and like that, it took a lot to get a few things together and a few things pen to paper and sit down and to be able to kind of go through a lot of the questions that we had gotten about the MPS and people wanting to know more and wanting another. So if anybody else has any more questions on this episode, please don't be afraid to send us an email at waitilitelya@gmail.com. Text us on Facebook, text us on Instagram. You can reach out to us personally like that. If you have our own numbers or whatever, go right ahead and ask. There is no silly question. There is nothing that Stacey can't answer. If questions are directed to me, I will ask Stacey and I will get back to you as well. There will be no issues. We love to try raise awareness, and not just on MPS but on anything really that is going to get the word out there and to get things spread across the board and for different things to be done. In time, I'm sure we will cover again our Joiga, your commitment to the MPS Ireland, isn't it? And I suppose just cover more of it in time and whatever, because that is, Archoiga is your baby.
That's
and
the
you
next big
absolutely
thing.
love it.
Yeah, it's the next big thing that's coming up. Do you know, where we've just established our
Premises.
Finally,
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Delighted.
so we just
is it the place we had been saying before?
No.
Oh,
So
wow.
we established
Okay.
our premises last week. We went down and visited and kind of signed, sealed, delivered the contract and everything.
Fantastic.
Like that. So
Brilliant.
we have a fundraiser coming up now on Saturday the 8th of August, and that's in the Anvil in Port Arlington.
Okay.
DJ Niall Dunn is retiring, and he has decided that on the night he's not going to charge an admission fee, but all proceeds from, you know, collection books and stuff on the night is to be donated directly to Archoiga. So we're all going to be there.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, we're all going to be there on the night with buckets and QR
And with Archoiga, there was never one in Laois, and you, along with a group of other ladies, have come along. And is there any? No, there's no men, is there?
No men as of yet.
We
have a good few lads that want to volunteer though, like for the actual events and stuff.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So like, it's something that Laois didn't have. So look up your local Archoigas, figure out what they are, and if they're suitable, again, reach out to the Archoiga Laois. You're on Facebook as well. Are you on Instagram?
We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we're on TikTok.
And on TikTok. So give them a shout as well, or follow them, or like them, or, you know, just support in any way that you can. Share, like, comment. You don't necessarily need to donate. Once people are talking, that's kind of key as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just all about spreading word.
Exactly.
That's literally all this.
So I think that's it for this episode. Thank you all so much for listening. Again, if you have any questions, anything you'd like to say to us, comment, like, share, and subscribe, and email us at waitilitelia@gmail.com. Thanks everybody so much.
Right now, folks, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.